Oliver Velez, if Bitcoin is the future for a person with few resources, how much would it be enough to accumulate to think about a good future in 7 years? The number, I mapped this out before, but the first number that you have to work really hard to achieve is Edwin's asking, what's your strategy for buying BTC next year? All right. The strategy has been changed a little bit, not in terms of style of accumulating Bitcoin, but in terms of the price range. And I'm going to come back to this question because in our tech look at Bitcoin, I want to go over where my buy orders are so that you know exactly where they are and where my buy range is. Now, so I will do that in detail before we leave, but this question also leads me to believe that there's still some confusion about the 5-step Bitcoin trading plan. That should never change. Traders, I will never stop accumulating Bitcoin. Let's just put it this way. I'm going to continue to apply the 5-step Bitcoin accumulation plan until Bitcoin reaches $1 million a coin. Let's put it that way. I am not going to stop just because of price. We are still too early in Bitcoin's growth toward global adoption to stop. There is no reason to stop. There will never be a reason, in my opinion, not to take an inferior form of money that I don't need right now and transfer it to a superior form of money. Now, if I earn US dollars, if I earn fiat currency, and a portion of that I know I just don't need, that's savings. I am going to save that in Bitcoin. I am not going to save that in a currency that has lost 98.9% of its value since the year 1913. I am not going to save that in a currency that is being debased by 8 to 12% every single year. I am not going to save that in a currency that cuts its value in half every 15 years. And that's the best fiat-based currency. The best fiat currency gets its value, its purchasing power cut in half every 14 years. The value gets cut in half. That's insane. Why would you save in that? Why would you save in a currency that is guaranteed to lose half of its purchasing power in 14 years? Versus switch that over to something that has an annualized appreciation rate of well over 200%. And that includes all of its bear market periods. Well over 200%. I believe the number is something like 213% annualized. I do realize that as there's more adoption, Bitcoin's annual growth rate should statistically decline, but still, for many decades, it will definitely, in my opinion, rise in value over time, including its bear period. So there's never a plan for me to stop. I think it's important to understand that what I encourage you to do is to look at Bitcoin as your savings technology, not as a trade, not as an investment, as your savings technology. All right? We have other things to trade and we have other things to invest in. This is not an investment. This is not a trade. This is your savings technology. And I believe it is going to have a material impact on our futures. All right. Okay. Edgar's saying, good afternoon, Oliver. Do you think that the year 2023 will be a powerful rise? I actually do. I'm not in the camp that while all-time new highs this year is not out of the question, I'm more in the camp that we settle somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 a coin. All right. And I'm using past cycles as my guide for that. All right. Bitcoin, what Bitcoin did last cycle, traders, was it rose off of the bear market low. It doubled and a half. So it went up, it doubled twice and went up 50% more, and then settled there for a while before it moved into its halving bull market phase. And it's basically done that every single bear market. During the bear market, it makes a low, and then it comes off of that low and then goes flat for a while. It usually comes off of the low by 200% or more. And so if the low is 15, let's say the low is 16,000, 15,000 and change, all right? 100% is 30,000. Another 100%, all right, is 45,000. You see what I'm saying? And so if it doubles twice and then starts going flat or so, like it has done in past bear market cycles, that is, if it repeats that, we sort of wind up in the between $40,000 and $50,000 a coin range, which would be nice. And then the halving in 2024, in March, April of 2024, the halving brings about another supply shock to the network, and boom, we're off to the races several months after the halving to all-time new highs. That's my take on how things potentially can pan out. All right, and we'll look at some of those charts in just a bit here. All right. Oliver Velez, if Bitcoin is the future for a person with few resources, how much would it be enough to accumulate to think about a good future in 7 years? The number, I mapped this out before, but the first number that you have to work really hard to achieve is 0.28 Bitcoin. So that's a little bit more than a quarter of 1 Bitcoin. Now, what's great about these bear market periods is that it makes it easier to get these goals achieved. But your first goal is a little bit more than 1/4, 25%. It's actually 28% of 1 full Bitcoin. Now, if we were to do the calculation on that today, and let's call the price, let's call the price 21,000 times a little bit less, but 21,000 times 0.28, boom. It's going to take you $5,880. All right. If you were to do that today, all right, you don't have to do that at once, but that's your first goal. Now, why is it 0.28? Because based on planet Earth's population, that would place you literally in an elite class. Everyone on Earth can't own 0.28 Bitcoin. In fact, the majority of people on planet Earth can't own and will never own 0.28 Bitcoin. And so if you achieve that milestone, I can't remember the percentage, but you're sort of like in the top 5% of the entire world. That makes you elite. If and when Bitcoin gains global adoption, you will be in an elite class with a little bit more than 1/4 of 1 Bitcoin. Now, think of it this way, guys. There's 65 million millionaires in the world. 65 million millionaires. There's not even 21 million Bitcoin. If if Bitcoin was spread over every millionaire, they wouldn't even have a quarter of a Bitcoin. That's crazy. That's insane. Every millionaire can't even have a quarter of a Bitcoin. Think about that. Much less every individual in the world. So you are going to be in an elite class with just a quarter of a Bitcoin, a little bit more than a quarter of a Bitcoin. That's your first goal. Of course, you don't stop there. Every single time you make something extra, I believe your best bet is to put it into Bitcoin. Not with the idea that you're going to flip it back into the inferior product, the inferior fiat currency, that you're locking this away for the future. This is your savings technology. And guys, small amounts will matter. Small amounts will matter. Do not disrespect small amounts. $5, $10, $3. These amounts will matter. I believe it's possible. I believe it's possible that one single Satoshi reaches $1. Now, maybe not in my lifetime, but I do believe that that future is very possible. What I believe will happen in my lifetime, what I believe will happen within the next 10 years is one single Satoshi is a penny. When one single Satoshi, which is right now 1/8 of a penny, I mean, it's a fraction of a penny right now. If one Satoshi rises to the level of being valued at 1 penny, that would make one Bitcoin $1 million. Now, I believe we see that in 2 more cycles after this one. We're currently in this cycle. 2 more cycles, I believe we see a Satoshi valued at 1 penny. Now, think about this, guys. Think about how many Satoshis a single dollar purchases today. It's insane. You understand? It's insane. So don't disrespect small amounts. They're going to matter in the future. $2 will matter. $10 will matter. $15. $100 is going to, in my opinion, be very valuable. So don't disrespect small amounts. We're still really early with this. All right.